Hello and welcome back, and today I want to talk about the very best NAS of the year for 4K and 1080p media. Now, straight away off the bat, it's worth highlighting that the best NAS for multimedia, be it 4K or 1080p, is more than just the fact that you're going to watch it on your TV. Media is getting fantastically dense, and even the smallest to the biggest media file that you ever deal with isn't just a simple file. It's a form of compression, and with the media file that you watch being an enormous amount of data that's been compressed into that video form, different results can be garnered from different NASs based on the file. Simple ones like MWV and AVI and stuff like that plays very, very well. With mobile phones moving into the realm of using MP4s or MKVs in some cases, and the more high-end ones, we are seeing more dense file compressions in multimedia being used, and with the compression techniques of the likes of H.264 and 265 being predominantly the leading ones when it comes to 1080p and 4K, having a NAS that can handle these media files on your big screen TV or your mobile phone as fluidly as possible with as little interference as possible over the network and the internet is actually quite a tall order. Whether you're using Plex Media Server or you're using proprietary applications and DLNA, you need to know that the NAS you're dealing with can not only handle those massive files as well as possible, but can do it to multiple devices at once over the internet, locally, and using transcoding. Do check out my video on what transcoding is. But these are my top 3 NASs to buy at the end of 2019 and early 2020. Of these 3 NASs, only one of them was released this year because it's been moderate slim pickings for the top-end multimedia NASs. Sure, most of them will play a 4K or 1080p file quite well, but the minute you introduce concepts like transcoding, Plex Media Server, or simultaneous file access, most of those NASs will not do the job. These 3 will, and they will do it damn well. My first entry is a NAS that was released coming up on 2 years ago. It is, and I've mentioned it before, the TVS 1282. Now, this NAS from QNAP arrives in a myriad of different forms. I mentioned the TVS 1282T, just 1282, but there is a 4-bay version, a 6-bay version, and this 8-bay. There's a version that has Thunderbolt. There's a version with an increased PSU for a GPU card. There's a version that's got a Blu-ray player built into it. There's one that's got an LTO player. They are Thunderbolt 2 and more. The 82 series is an insanely well-built device that features numerous methods to ensure that multimedia playback is perfect. The 1282 arrives with an 6th and now 7th generation with the newer serials. Generation i7 quad-core CPU. It also arrives with between 16 and 64 gig of DDR4 memory. It has a 3-tier storage system with 8 traditional bays of SATA hard drive support that can support up to 16 terabytes per bay, and you can populate this device gradually if you so choose. On top of that, there are 4 2.5-inch SATA bays for introducing SSDs for particularly fast accessing data. And inside, there are 2 M2 SSD bays as well for a tiered storage system that, working with that CPU and the right hard drive media and the right RAID, creates an insanely fast NAS that can handle all of these file types and process them for output as fast as you need, and that's for 1, 2 or more users. And if you're looking at a NAS for Plex Media Server, there are few NASs that give you the output of the 1282. It is a beast of a device, and one that I heartily recommend for 4K and 1080p even 2 years on. But let's bring things a little bit more into the present. It's going to be another QNAP, and it's a NAS that I've talked about on the channel already. It's the TVS 872XT. This is not the follow-up to the 1282, but it lives in the same kind of range. This 16 to 1700 quid without VAT and hard drive media NAS is an 8-bay Thunderbolt and 10 GBE device. It arrives with a 6-core 8th generation i5 processor, and between 16 and 32 gig of DDR4 memory. It's a beast. This takes away a number of those tiered storage systems, although it does arrive with the NVMe SSD ports inside, and creates a much more discrete lower power consuming solution, but in terms of Plex Media Server, 4K and 1080p access over transcoding using the network and the internet, it is a monster. It is insanely powerful, supporting transcoding of varying degrees. Pretty much any 4K file you're going to throw at it, and thanks to that CPU and tiered storage system, insane future-proofing moving forward. I should also mention that both the 1282 and the 872 XT arrive with a myriad of applications from QNAP for enjoying your media within a home cinema setting, standard DLNA, or Plex Media Server and above, both over the network and the internet. Of course, you've got your surveillance backup software and all kinds of applications thrown in too, but we are focusing predominantly on the multimedia, and when it comes to a NAS that will let you enjoy your media in the perfect form you can, this is the device for you. Both of those NASs actually also arrive with 4K 60 frames per second HDMI, which means you can connect this NAS to a modern TV and get 60 frames per second 4K locally over HDMI with a remote control or mobile app remote control if you so choose. But on top of that, you've also got the ability at the same time simultaneously to transcode multiple streams of 4K and 1080p. It is a beast, and that's why it's on my list. So, what's the third NAS on my list? Well, it's the oldest one of the three. You knew it was coming. It's always in my best ofs for the last couple of years, and I think this could be the last time we talk about it this year. It is the DS3617XS from Synology. Synology really hit pay dirt with this NAS, an early 2017 release. The 3617XS is a Xeon powered 12-bay NAS from Synology. It has 5 years of warranty, 4 LAN ports, a quad-core super powerful Xeon CPU that doesn't feature a transcoding engine, and I'll come to that in a bit, so no embedded graphics, but also arrives with 16 gig of DDR4 ECC memory. Why is it still in my list? Well, 2 reasons. One, it is still the best NAS for Plex Media Server from Synology. I'm not just honorarily putting Synology in this list, it's still an insanely powerful device. What it lacks in a transcoding engine and embedded graphics, it makes up for its ability to transcode multiple 4K streams with raw power. It also arrives with the Synology DSM software and all of the applications that are included, from surveillance to office applications, backup and more. It also has 12 bays of storage. That's an enormous potential storage space to work with. You can run on OneDrive and gradually populate over time, and you have got an extensive source of data for your collection. On top of that, with the 5 years of warranty, the device also arrives with a PCIe upgrade slot that allows you to upgrade internal operations with a cache card or improve external operations with a network interface card that improve on the 4 1GBE ports with 2.5 GBE, 5 GBE, 10 GBE, 25 GBE, or even 40 GBE with those Mellanox cards. This device has some serious potential internally and externally, and although a number of those benefits will not be present on your smart TV, lots of them will be present in a network sense, which, fed into the right network switch, means that internet access and live transcoding access over the likes of Plex Media Server and the Synology native applications available on things with the Amazon skills as well for Fire Stick and Alexa and stuff like that. There are a large number of applications that allow you to interact with a Synology NAS via third-party hardware. And right now, Synology are the only NAS brand with a range of applications, not only for client Mac, PC and mobile, which everyone has, but they've got apps in the Amazon store. They integrate with those smart home IoT devices in a first-party way, not relying on third-party apps. And that's why the DS3617XS will always be on my list. Next year, I reckon we're going to see the DS1620XS take the mantle. But till then, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do go to the link in the description to learn more about the NASs I talked about today and their suitability to different user environments. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this. Click like if you enjoyed it. and click subscribe to learn more, and I'll see you next time.